What's going on, guys? Today we're going to look and see if a cheap red dot is worth the money, but can it even compete with more expensive but more robust options out there on the market. We're going to put it through its paces and make sure that it can kind of handle the standards that a red dot realistically needs to be able to survive for you to be able to trust it in your EDC, protecting you and your family. Before we dive into the video, I'd love to disclose some stuff about this product and the company, my relationship. So Gowutar, they make this red dot. They sent it out to me. It's called the A20C. They let me pick whatever dot that I wanted to review. This is a paid review. However, they don't get to sign off on the video before I post it. This video is going to be the video. And these thoughts are my own. And above all, I do honor and respect your guys' trust, especially when it comes to tools that literally can be the difference between life and death. I really want to honor your trust by being as authentic as possible as I can in this presentation. So just wanted to put that out there. Another housekeeping item, huge thank you to DK Mags for sponsoring the ammo seen in this video, as well as many, many other videos. They've been a fantastic partner of the channel for a long time. If you guys want any guns, knives, ammo, accessories, holsters, pretty much anything you could ever want as a gun guy, go ahead, check them out. Their online catalog is fantastic. Their team, their customer service is great. If you do live in Minnesota, head on in, tell them that I sent you, and they'll give you a nice little discount off of nearly everything in the store. Thanks again to those guys for being such a great partner of the channel. All right, so I'm gonna be intentional in this video to hold the gun high enough for you guys to see what I'm doing here. So obviously red dot optics on pistols, that's the norm. That's not going anywhere. And the innovation, the designs just continue to develop and become more impressive as the years go by. So with the standard for an EDC gun, a carry gun, a home defense gun, having a red dot sight, there are tons of ways that you guys can obviously go when searching for the perfect dot for your platform. Obviously, optic cut's going to be a big one. What can your gun accommodate? But fortunately, brands like Gowutar and literally every other brand makes optics in tons of different varieties that can accommodate your slide. The A20C is an RMR footprint optic. They do have other ones for like Dr. Venom, and the 407K, 507K RMSC footprint. Can't really speak to the quality on those ones because the testing that we've done here is just for this optic itself. In the box here, it comes with a nice little rubber cover. It comes with a Picatinny mount. If you want to set this optic up as like a offset dot for a carbine, something like that, probably a scoped carbine. Comes with a bunch of screws for different screw patterns and thread depths and pitches. So that's very handy, and a cleaning cloth. It does take CR1632 batteries. That's pretty standard, kind of those little smaller coin ones. And it is, the tray is top mounted. So fortunately, you do not have to remove the dot from your slide, kind of like the Gen 1 RMR, to change out the battery when the time comes. I think having a design like that, either a sliding tray or where you just access it from the top right here, that's a must. 100% a feature that you should really expect from a dot, especially in 2025. The dot does have shake awake technology, meaning that once you set down the gun, it doesn't feel motion for longer than 240 seconds, also 4 minutes. The dot will turn off and you're gonna be saving a little bit of battery from that. Once you pick it up, it's gonna come right back on. I have not been able to beat it, meaning I'm like looking at the dot the second that I come to the gun and grab it and even just like touch it barely, that emitter is back on. So no issues with the shake awake technology, even after having done a drop test on the optic. The dot has 10 brightness settings. The lowest two are rated for night vision. Rated probably, I don't have night vision, so I have not tested that, but I'm gonna guess that it is still too bright to be usable under nods. Like it's gonna really be blooming and kind of looking crazy if you're under nods, but what that probably means is that it won't burn out your tubes. So you can use it, but probably not really. A friend of mine has some nods. He's got a PVS 14 and he used his monocular with a Holosun optic, a couple of them, and they didn't get, I mean, they're night vision compatible, but they didn't get dim enough. Battery life is not in the manual, so I will put it on screen as to what you can expect from a single battery. Of course, battery type matters, like the brand that you use. So I typically reach for Duracell and then Energizer if I'm feeling poor. But the batteries that they ship with in the box, you probably might not want to use that long term or expect it to die a little bit sooner than perhaps a Duracell battery. Overall, the dot it's lightweight, it feels good. The machining looks good enough, the coating looks good enough. It's not thicker or thinner in any one spot. when you look at it. The adjustment turrets to change the 0 are positive. They give you a nice little click. So that's good. I really hate the dots where you're adjusting the turrets and you don't have a click. You just gotta like spin it around until it feels right. So that's a great feature. With every click you hear, that's gonna be 1 MOA in the direction according to what you're adjusting it. So it's kind of easy to set it up and get it zeroed quickly. The buttons, when you're adjusting the brightness, are a little bit small. So if you're wearing gloves, it might be challenging for you to get the right one, but if you're ungloved, it's totally fine. The dot gets bright enough to work just fine in a really bright sunny day. That's usually what I worry most about, as opposed to getting dim enough for you to use night vision. I don't have that again, so it's not necessarily a feature that I need at this moment. The dot is multi-reticle, so it's got a dot, it's got a circle, and it's got a circle dot. So you can kind of choose which setup you want to run for your optic. I just use the dot. I'm gonna look here how many MOA the dot is. Okay, so the dot's 2 MOA, the circle's 38 MOA. I think that's fine. Maybe if it was like a 6 MOA dot, I would like it a little bit more. I don't have a huge preference on dot size, so since my Glock doesn't have a rear sight, I've not tried to like co-witness with or seen how this dot works with kind of stock height iron sights, so that is yet to be seen from someone else. God, it's hot in this basement, holy crap. The features, although basic, 10 years ago, this would be a pretty feature-rich product, but everything comes at a cost, including features, and so that's really where this dot shines, in my opinion. Before we start talking about kind of value proposition, what you get, let's continue on with kind of how I treated it. I was encouraged to torture it, so I did a drop test, and you guys can watch that right now. We're gonna do a drop test kind of until it essentially shatters. To simulate full weight of a handgun, this is a 18 round mag, fully loaded up, just so we have that mass. Empty chamber, just for safety. And we're gonna drop it on the optic shroud and just see how it performs, whether it holds up 0 afterwards, or if the glass just shatters out and you're SOL there. So I'm gonna go from about chest height, straight onto the optic. One drop and she is shattered. I don't know if you guys can kind of pick that up. So she's cooked a little bit. As long as you view the dot in the non-shattered portion, you can still use it. So we will test 0 and see if it has held and maintained 0 after a heavy impact. But yeah, that's what you can expect from that guy. The dot did remain 0 after dropping it, so that's actually pretty impressive for a dot at this price point. I was definitely expecting it to break. I'm definitely expecting the shroud to kind of cave in a little bit from the impact, but I wasn't really expecting the dot to stay zeroed and to shoot where I initially set it in the first place. So that was actually a very nice surprise. And probably, if I had to be honest, the biggest surprise about this dot is they built it in a way that as long as there's still glass intact, you can still use the dot reliably. One issue is looking through the shattered portion is pretty much impossible. You can't really make out anything in the broken glass. Glass clarity is something that I do want to talk about a little bit. There's kind of a blue tint, not kind of, there's definitely a blue tint. And when you are looking through the glass, you can't tell if it's magnification or demagnification. But the world you see through the glass looks bluer and I think actually a little bit smaller. I'm wearing corrective lenses, so maybe, I don't know, maybe that throws it off. But a lot of dots, even 4 times the price of this one, still have glass clarity imperfections that you're just gonna have a hard time kind of getting rid of unless you start spending a lot of money. So essentially, I think this is gonna be a pretty short video. What you're getting with the Gowutar A20C and likely other dots from the company are a great value, a dot that works, and that's kind of it. I would say if you're a shooter who you're kind of casual, you've maybe been shooting iron sights and you've heard that the red dot train is something to jump on, but you're not fully convinced and you kind of want to test it out before you make the switch, you want to train with it, I think this is a great introductory option. Also, if you're someone who just knows that you don't need advanced features like solar or an enclosed emitter, perhaps some of the additional robustness that other brands, just by association of being from them, kind of offer you that little bit of peace of mind. If you can go without that, then this might be an option for you guys to look at. Perhaps even if you don't want to drop a lot of money and you're building out a carbine and you know that you want an offset dot or a secondary sighting system, and you want it to be a red dot, I think this would be a great option. I would be totally comfortable throwing it on a rifle. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna keep this dot on this gun as seen here. Obviously it's broken, so I don't even know if I'm gonna switch it out for this one. I might go ahead and put a different one on. I will report back kind of maybe on a build update on where it's at later, but I think these dots are good to go, given some caveats of, you know, the glass is gonna break if you drop it. It's still gonna be zeroed though, so that's good. The dot itself will just hold 0. Battery life has been fine. Throughout all of the use, I haven't had to change it, which is good because I have used some Meprolite dots, pistol dots, where I've been using it for a review period and the batteries died within less than a couple of months of me having it. This I've had for a couple of months and the battery's holding up just fine. I didn't even use a Duracell. I did throw in the cheap Chinesium coin battery, so I'm going against my own words here. God, it's so freaking hot in this garage, guys. So again, to wrap up, if you're tight on a budget, if you want to try dots, get into it. I think this one's gonna be a good option. Don't expect it to blow you away with crazy features or anything, but it's gonna do what you need it to do. It's gonna shake awake. You're not gonna have to worry about turning it back on manually when it's off. You can change the battery out from the top without taking it off, without having to re-zero. Even if you drop it, you're not gonna have to re-zero. And you're gonna be good to go for at least one more use. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you want to pick one up, if you're interested, I have a code for 30% off, which is actually kind of crazy. So go ahead and use code, what's my code? I don't know what my code is. Go ahead and use the code linked in the description down below on the site. I hope this video didn't come off as I'm like glazing Gowutar too much because they're paying me for this video, but I actually think it's an okay dot for the price. If they're charging more, I would say absolutely not. But especially with a 30% off coupon, it's really a value that's kind of hard to beat. Longer term, I have used their 507K footprint dot on a Glock 48 carry that I had for a little bit, and it worked just fine. Dot came on every time I needed it to, and it stayed 0. That's kind of ultimately what I needed it for, that build in that period of time, so for that stage. Now I've switched out the dot, upgraded it to a different, more feature-rich model. But yeah, these dots have worked for me in the past, and I think they'll work just fine for you guys. So let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your time and your trust here. Stay safe out there. God bless you and your families, and remember to live a life worth defending. Catch you in the next one.